was a child, I would get sick every year between the end of winter and the beginning of spring. And every time I was ill, just before I got better, I would have the same dream, which would be identical every single time. Apart from the one time that my dad woke me up because I was repeatedly screaming the word monsters. Because I got better and the fever broke the day after the dream, I called it my recovery dream. And this is how it goes. I'm a child, and I'm standing outside a white cottage, and everything around me is white. The sky is white, the cottage is white, the road, the fence, and the garden that surrounds the house are white. And it's hot, and it's summer. I'm picking daisies, and as I pluck a petal from one, I'm destroying a whole galaxy with stars and planets and billions of people. And I'm working my way through the petals. And when I get to the end of the petal, I crush the yellow-headed flower and I pick a new one and start again. Then I'm inside my own house, upstairs on the landing, which connects the bedrooms and the bathrooms and the stairs downstairs. But instead of the rooms, the doorways now lead to sets of giant mechanical meat grinders. And I'm standing there about to leap into one of these to a horrific death. My family are standing right beside me, wishing me good luck. Then I'm in space, and I can see an infinite number of stars. And there are two giant invisible figures having a fight or an argument of some kind. And every movement that they make, and gesture that they make, and words that they shout incoherently, they destroy hosts of stars with planets and civilizations and peoples. And all at once I am the two arguing figures. I am every single person on every single planet being destroyed, and I am myself. I feel great sorrow, and I wake. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Prologue. Tonight we can expect to encounter a great deal of potential for the future, and it is now my privilege to officially declare this event open. Footnote. At this event, we can expect canaries, the future, time travel, babies, dreams, rats, jumping, Liberace, multiple universes, shark attacks, and monoliths, a car crash, and the little orphan Annie. Footnote expansion. You can also expect this evening to begin. You will be spoken to, and you will be sung to. This presentation will end, and there will be some applause. You'll have a drink and a chat afterwards, and you'll leave the theatre, and you'll travel home by foot, or bicycle, or car, or train. You'll sleep in your bed, or that of a lover, or at a hotel maybe. And you'll sleep through the night, and return to work the next day, and continue to live your life as you did before. You'll get a promotion in due course, and if you haven't already, you'll meet someone special, and if you haven't already, you'll get married, and if you do want them, you'll raise children, and they will grow up. You'll get another promotion in due course, and your children will grow up, and they will begin families of their own. You will eventually retire, your friends will become old and ill, and then your friends will die. You too will become old and die. And then your children will die, your grandchildren will die, your great-grandchildren will die, your great-great-grandchildren will die, and all of your descendants will die, and all evidence of their existence will be lost. In due course, human civilization will end, and human species will die. New life forms will evolve, and those new life forms will become sentient and begin civilizations of their own, and develop cultures, and art, and technology. Those civilizations will have no means of progressing beyond an agricultural phase, however, due to humanity's use of the planet's natural resources to date. And so those life forms and their civilizations will die. All sentient forms of life on Earth will die, and any trace of any civilization on Earth having ever existed will be lost. The sun will expand, and all life on Earth will die, and all traces of life on Earth having ever existed will be eradicated. Elsewhere in the universe, great alien civilizations will be born, develop kind of space travel and time travel and incredible technologies, and will link up in great universal communities, and they will die. All solar systems will come to an end as the stars burn out. The stars will become cold husks. Galaxies under the force of gravity will fall apart and disperse, and then over a very long period of time, remaining bodies of matter will fall apart and disperse, and matter, one electron at a time, will disintegrate. Black holes will evaporate, and then space, time, and the universe as we know it will cease to exist, and it will be as if nothing has ever existed at all. footnote expansion. So this should be a stimulating and relevant event, end footnote 2. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jacob Bronowski once said of the Holocaust that we must end the push-button culture and reach out and touch one another. In opening this museum today, we hope to both mark our remembrance of those who suffered and lost their lives, but also to reach out to those living today. We hope to form a community in which this museum becomes redundant, where the knowledge learned and the truths experienced in this place branch out from person to person by word of mouth and simple touch into the future. I would like to declare this museum open. Footnote. The future is often considered a horizon line of events, a successive series of technological inventions that irreversibly alter the way we live and perceive the world. For example, the atom bombs dropped on Hiroshima, open brackets. The USS Indianapolis was the ship that delivered the atom bombs to the American airbase before being dropped on Japan. On its return journey, the ship was sunk by a Japanese submarine, but the ship was so secret and its mission so secret that no Mayday message was ever sent and no rescue attempt made until the survivors were accidentally spotted 4 days later. Of the 900 crew who made it into the water, only 316 recovered. The rest were lost to shark attacks within those 4 days. As an aside, the future is much like a shark attack. One finds oneself in an open space where apparently you can see everything around you, when suddenly you're blindsided by something completely unexpected coming at you from a direction that you have little or no perception of. And while the shark in this way can be considered an animal of the future, animals of the future are more commonly thought of as rats or cockroaches. Digression.
I wasn't so happy. I was working for an employer in the East who couldn't pronounce my name, and it kind of annoyed me, especially when he kept referring to me all the time as La Cucaracha instead of Liberace. But now I can laugh about it and play La Cucaracha, first as the Latin number it is, and then with a little boogie beat at it. I hope you like it.
turn you aside. Due to their ability to survive impending global nuclear conflict and outlast the human species, end aside, close brackets, return to footnote. However, we should not consider the future as an atom bomb, as most people do. This is an error. The assumption that the future is a series of unwritten events whose chance of happening depends on their chances of any given moment is simply false. According to the current scientific thought, our perception of time being separated into the past, present and future is simply a convenient mental construct. In reality, the future has already happened. And at the same time, it currently physically exists. Space-time is like a long red ribbon of flesh. You might think that you exist at solely one point on the ribbon. And if you look back in time, you might find your origin. But if you look forward, your future is already still there. And all your decisions and actions are marked permanently in the flesh of the ribbon for all to see. The reason that we don't know the future in the same way that we know the present and the past is because to know all of our futures lay down in front of us with no way out, with no alternative, would lead us to lose our most personal and valuable sense of self, that thing we call a mind. End footnote 3. Hi, everyone. So here we are at this beautiful housing estate. Not too late, am I? Sorry. Good? No? Great. I've just been... No, wait. You'll see that in a minute. They're wonderful facilities. You'll see them soon. I know this may seem premature with the paint still drying and the houses over there still going up, but with the majority of the development finished and properties ready to go on sale, we thought that the time was right to give you a taste of what your lives could be like here. We have bespoke properties of every variety. The commercial plots are empty, but we have an exciting list of businesses ready to move in, and the leisure facilities are just waiting for you and your kids to sign up. So I'm not going to make a big speech now. There's going to be lots of potential for that. I just think we're going to get things started, so I'll cut the ribbon and we can take a walk around the site. Thank you. Footnote. The notion of potential is perhaps a much better way of considering the effect of the future upon our present. Scientists are often considered in terms of the future, as are artists. However, other professions most involved in the future are architects, builders, midwives, personal note 1. This is my unborn son. He doesn't yet have a name. He hasn't learned how to breathe yet, or how to walk. He hasn't yet entered language. He hasn't yet learned how to judge his falling distance to the ground. He hasn't yet learned how to run, walk, jump. He's not yet learned how to make fruit from his lungs, or he hasn't made the discovery of money yet. He's not yet found a way to make everything free, or how to live on steam. He's not yet learned how to ride a bike or drive a car. He hasn't learned yet how to strike an axe within the frozen sea inside of himself, or to depart without some guarantee of return. He hasn't developed a strategy for fending off sharks. He hasn't learned how to tend his garden, or how to sing, or how to let go. He's not yet learned how to lose his way. End personal note. Digression. Our status as human beings is only a temporal construct. Most changes in evolutionary design occur less through mutation, but rather through redundancy and exaptation, the process in which environmental changes force an organ or attribute to become redundant, to then find a new function in a new environment. A classic example is feathers, which initially evolved as insulation, were co-opted for display, and then co-opted for flight. Humans have a redundant organ, the appendix here, which has been co-opted for the maintenance of a healthy digestive system, capable of harbouring the bacteria necessary for the modern diet. End digression. Return to footnote. Event planners and organisers of all kinds, teachers and postmen and postwomen who deliver our future to us on a daily basis. End footnote. Hi everyone, I'm Phil, and I'm here to talk to you today about a brand new building that we've just finished in your school. I work as an architect, which means I'm the person who designed what a building should look like and what happens inside of it, and I was the architect for your new building. What I've tried to do is make a building that will change the way you think about school. There aren't really any classrooms anymore, and there isn't really one place for a teacher to stand and one place for you to sit. Instead, you'll all be in it together. And it's the blackboards, and there'll be lots of screens and things for you to look at. So I'm going to take you inside the building because I want to see what you think about it and how it makes you feel. Because this is a building that's really been designed to make you think about what you want to be when you grow up. Ready? Okay, good, let's go. Footnote. While there is much speculation, we actually have few reliable ways of knowing when or how we might encounter the future or what it might be. Most commonly, this has been achieved through sentinel animals. This is where wild, domestic and companion animals act as early warning systems of environmental health hazards for humans. This ability is reliant upon a sentinel's greater susceptibility to a particular hazard in comparison to nearby humans. The classic example is the canary. Well into the 20th century, coal miners brought canaries into mines as an early warning system for toxic gases, including methane and carbon monoxide. The birds, being more sensitive, would become sick before the miners, who would then have a chance to escape or put on protective respirators. End footnote. New footnote. Speculation and effect. While there is a great deal of cultural material concerning time on speculative futures, there is little explicitly concerning the effect of the future on our present. However, we might wish to consider these artists and their works. Ted Chiang and Chris Beckett for kind of very sophisticated science fiction short stories. Don DeLillo's early novels for his view of kind of immediate futures and the social, cultural landscape that is formed within them, and the use of America as a metaphor for that. J.G. Ballard for almost all of his work, and particularly his seminal work, Crash, Personal Note 2. I was driving down Perry's Bank Road near New Greenham Common, and it had rained. It was snowy, but it had rained heavily the night before, and the snow was melting now. And I was going downhill and round a long bend in the road. What I didn't know is that the road ahead of me had flooded, and the car in front of me had stopped to let a car come through the flood in the middle of the road from the other direction. And as I came round the bend, I saw that the car had stopped, and I put on the brakes. But the car slowed but didn't stop. So I slammed and put all of the pressure of my foot on the brake, and the wheels locked, but the car didn't stop. It just skidded along the wet surface of the road. And there was some distance between me and the car in front. And my life did not flash before my eyes, but time slowed down. And I was able to think about my situation and realise that I had three options. One, I could veer left onto the grass verge to try and stop the car. I could swerve right onto the other side of the road, or I could carry straight on into the back of the car in front of me. Alternative. Let's say that this is not my right arm. Let's say that I lost my right arm in a car accident on the Berries Bank Road near the former nuclear base at New Green Common. When I say lost, I mean my arm was torn off by a tree branch that I collided with in my car as I swerved to avoid a stationary car. Skin, muscle, nerve ending and veins and arteries were ripped and bones shattered by the impact, and my right arm was pulled from me and the car and left mangled and dangling. This is not my right arm. This is my second right arm. This, my second right arm, was grown for me by my supplier, who I know only as Kay, as a result of a relatively new medical technique. Kay has undergone a treatment which allows him to have an open physical system, which means he can grow pretty much any internal organ or limb that is required for any pain recipient, with a minimum of physical discomfort and pain. So Kay is now a physical insurance policy for me. And our arrangement is on the surface financial. I pay Kay to grow replacement body parts should I need them. But it goes beyond that. I look on Kay as an extension of myself, as someone waiting to be me. Kay in turn regards me and his other recipients as extensions of himself, always waiting to be him. Kay's DNA will never find its way into my life or that of my children's, and my life will never be part of his nor his part of mine. But his flesh is part of me, and that same flesh is in a number of different people around the world, and we might shake hands daily and never know it. End alternative, return to personal note 2. However, I also realised that there were some problems with my three options. To swerve left onto the grass verge could be fatal. I could lose control of the car, and just beyond the verge was an extremely steep drop filled with trees, and that could be very dangerous. Equally, swerving right could bring me into a head-on collision with a car coming from the other direction. So my seatbelt would hold, but the combined force of both cars would concertina the fronts of the cars and crush my legs. So I actually chose to drive into the car in front of me, and I braced for impact. Digression. There is, of course, not just one future. There are an infinite number of possible universes branching out from every decision we make. For example, there's another universe right next door to this one where I'm doing this performance, but it's a day earlier. And there's another performance another universe where I do this performance, but in the building over there. And then there's another universe where I do this performance here, but I'm a woman. And there's another performance where I do it where I'm a woman, but I'm blonde with long hair down to about here, and I wear a kind of a pink cardigan top, and I'm, say, 15 to 10 years younger than I am at the moment. And then there's another universe where I do this performance, but I do it in French, in France. But I'm a 50-year-old man with glasses, wearing a black shirt that's short-sleeved and a pair of blue jeans. And there's another universe where I do this, but then there's also a woman who does it with me, and I'm about the same age, but I'm frankly much healthier than I am in this universe. And the person standing next to me is my girlfriend, and we're only just started going out together, really. And then there's another universe where I do this, where I'm actually in the audience, but the person I've been working with to make this performance does it for me instead, because I've lost my voice, because I caught a bad cold from my wife like a week before. End digression. End personal note. Turn to footnote. Stands on Len for his novel The Roadside Picnic, Chris Marker for his film Le Jeté, Arkady and Boris Strugatsky for their novel Solaris, and Charles Dickens actually for The Ghost of Christmas Future in A Christmas Carol. End footnote. Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you can hear me. I've been a while. I don't actually know where here is. I'm lost. But I'm going to give this speech a chance anyway, right from the middle, I think. I'm kind of in the middle, not the centre, of this fantastic maze. In a few minutes you're going to come in here and try and find me in the middle somewhere of this remarkable maze, and you're going to encounter something quite remarkable and new in your experience of what a maze can be, because this is a living maze, which means that there's not just one or two ways through, there are in fact an infinite number of ways through the maze, because it responds to every turn you make. If you go left, it will block off the right, and if you backtrack, it will open new pathways, which makes it extremely confusing. If a route to the centre is found too quickly, it will close it and open new ones. So no one's going to know the quickest way to the maze, to the centre of the maze, ever, or an easy way out.
We hope that you'll find that every time you come back there's something new to discover, a different part of the maze that you've never been to before, a different route, even a different way of travelling back out of it. In fact, the point of this maze is not to get to the centre or even to get out. The point of this maze is exploration. So I officially declare it open. Come find me, please. Footnote. A ribbon cutting ceremony is conducted for the public to inaugurate the opening to the general public of a new building or to mark the beginning of an event. This ceremony is conducted by a timed ribbon across the space, which is then cut in a ritual manner by a dignitary to declare the event or building open. Frequently, celebrity guests or local dignitaries will be invited to do the honours and cut the ribbon. The ribbon itself has its origins sourced from the practice of tying and untying ribbons at weddings to symbolise the imminent loss of the bride's virginity. Similarly, there are other customs that are similar to break a glass underfoot, to break plates, or even break a bottle of champagne when launching a new ship, or even smoking a cigar, or this can also be read as closing an event. However, an alternative theory is that the ribbon represents the innards of a sacrificed human or animal, who would have their entrails and internal organs displayed and read to predict the future. The cutting of the organs symbolising the initiation of the future yet to come. Demonstration. There's a cut in this. That's bad. There's not much blood. That's good. There's something, some material here on it that doesn't belong. That's bad. There's another cut, that's bad. there's more material here that doesn't belong. That's that. I'm afraid we're redundant, all of us. The future does not depend on us anymore. I won't make any promises. There's going to be very little chance of us being reinstated, and even if that does happen, it would be in a radically reorganised and smaller position. We'll be operating in a largely superfluous role with no chance for advancement. What I can say is this: our time is not completely up. We'll be here for quite some time, but in a long process of retreat. We'll still be able to observe the workings as they go along, but we'll understand them less and less as time proceeds until our actual perception of them becomes irrevocably skewed. In fact, things will go on fine without us. Just fine. And so the rest of the future is not really directed at us. We're just an afterglow. End demonstration. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is as much an ending as it is a beginning and a point of departure. What we're about to do today is the result of decades of thinking and planning and hard work from hundreds of dedicated people. And in the process of making this possible, there have been setbacks and sacrifices. And while there have been successes, and today is one of those successes, there have also been losses. We don't know what we're going to find when we get to our destination. We don't know what we'll bring back if we can come back. But what we do know is that we're taking something with us. In the process of saying my goodbyes over the last few months, I realised the most important thing that I was doing was embracing and shaking the hands of everyone that mattered to me and everyone that was part of my life. In whatever way, in whatever small part. Those points of contact were open, intimate, and full of feeling, and contained in them a deep understanding of what it means to be human. When we depart tomorrow, we will be taking a great many things: information, skills, equipment, but the most important thing that we will be storing up and carrying with us is you. Footnote. Of course, it's worth knowing that we often consider the future to be infinite, never ending series of tomorrows, but is in fact finite. Personal note 3. So, I know someone who's dying, and in his garden, 15 square feet of fertile soil used to grow runner beans, peas, broccoli, cabbage, lettuce, a wide variety of herbs, now drape flat. A greenhouse which was once overflowing to many different types of tomato is empty, and a further 10 square feet of soil for potatoes, leeks and carrots has been replaced by a uniform roll of turf. There is no garden left to tend, and the local wild rabbits, which were once full-time thieves, nervously dodging air rifle fire for the chance to chew on fresh produce, now stand in a wide open space, blindsided by the absence of both. End personal note 3, return to footnote. One day the future will run out, and one day all matter will dissolve and there will be no more time, and in a more immediate future, one day the sun will burn out and there will be no more tomorrows. Cross-reference. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. When I'm stuck with a day that's grey and lonely, I just stick up my chin and grin and say, oh, the sun will come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you, tomorrow, you're only a day away. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you, tomorrow, you're only a day away. End cross-reference, end footnote. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Clarification. I have to admit, this isn't the first time I've done this. I've given a speech, or some variation of it, I don't know how many times now, and in a lot of different places to open completely different events. Each version of the speech is different, and I never cut the ribbon. I'll only be able to cut the ribbon when I know that I'm going to stop doing the speech, and I don't know when that's going to happen. So every time I do this, it feels more and more like a rehearsal. But on the final day, I'll address the audience and say, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to something. Before going on to say something like, from tonight onwards, we can expect to encounter a great deal of potential for the future. And then I'll say, it's now my privilege to officially declare this event open. And then I'll take the scissors and I'll cut the ribbon.